as to why Moya constituency in Kirinyaga County has not been gazetted as a hardship area, considering the advanced conditions in most parts of the county. In terms of the criteria used, Honorable Speaker, the first criteria is availability or lack of it of food and accessibility to food, an availability and inaccessibility or otherwise of water, transport and communication service in terms of adequacy, social services, whether they are available or accessible, climate conditions for that particular area, and the terrain harshness of that area, and security or high possibility of security threats in a particular area. And finally, Mr. Speaker, is severity of poverty. Mr. Speaker, Moya constituency has not been gazetted as a hardship area because the government is addressing the challenges of the existing disparities in designated hardship areas across the public service, and has undertaken a study to review and harmonize the designated hardship areas across the public service. Gazettement of the hardship areas and implementation of the designated hardship areas will be undertaken upon approval by Cabinet, and this matter is currently before Cabinet. Mr. Speaker, as to when the ministry intends to classify Moya constituency as a hardship area in order to compensate public servants who serve in the region under adverse conditions. Mr. Speaker, the government is addressing the challenges of the existing disparities in designated hardship areas across the public service, and has undertaken a study to review the same and harmonize the designated hardship areas across the public service. Gazettement of the hardship areas, implementation of the same is currently under consideration by Cabinet, and with guidance from the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. Mr. Speaker, I submit.
Thank you, CS. Senator Veronica, have your seat. Mr. CS, you can have your seat. Do you want to ask the two supplementary questions now, or maybe I give a chance to a few senators, then you can come in?
Give the chance to a few senators, then we can ask, clarify.
Senator Wamatinga Waume. Yeri, Senator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Let me start, Mr. Speaker, by congratulating the CS. He has a way of whichever docket he gets, then he shines in it. My question goes in the same note of this National Youth Service, where he pronounced himself that he'll make it a kind of a military outfit. I have some few willing men who would want to do the same. Maybe he can outline that, how he's going, especially in the marginalized areas, to ensure that indeed even youth from there access the services. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, you can just make your statement on that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Speaker Fonyeri. Indeed, Honorable Speaker, we have pronounced ourselves on the new direction for the National Youth Service. The re-engineering agenda of the National Youth Service, which we are undertaking, is premised on 4 key pillars. The first pillar is the pillar of paramilitary training and regimentation. This is important because we have to impart on our young people with the right social, patriotic wiring, so that they become good citizens capable of driving the country forward. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, Currently, we have got around 10,000 servicemen and women serving under the paramilitary service within the National Youth Service. By end of this financial year, we are going to recruit 20,000 youths, and then in the year 2024-25, we go to 40,000 youths, 25-26, 60,000 youths, and ultimately get to 100,000 youth by the year 2027. Honorable Speaker, the second pillar, and before even I leave on the first pillar, is on the issue of regimentation. Regimentation, simply put, Mr. Speaker, is that we put these youth under clusters, just like it happens within our discipline forces of the police force, of the military, so that they can be able to work together and cross-socialize each other with positive behavior and patriotic angling as we prepare them to be better citizens. Honorable Speaker, the second pillar of our re-engineering agenda within the National Youth Service is what we are calling contribution towards national service. Mr. Speaker, we have a lot of opportunities within government where our youth can be used to offer those services. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, tomorrow we will be in Kitale, in Trans Nzoia County, with the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and our National Youth Service, where we have up to 6,000 acres of maize that is ready for harvesting that would have otherwise gone to waste from the Agricultural Development Corporation and the Kenya Seed Company. 5 million kilograms of seed that would have actually gone to waste. And tomorrow, we will descending on that particular area with hundreds of youth who are going to harvest that maize, prevent it from going to waste, and therefore save money and time and a lot of resources, while actually helping the country to, in terms of food security. As you know, we are coming from a season of very debilitating hunger. The reason I'm giving that example, Mr. Speaker, is just to give you an example of where can you expect to find the green uniform. You'll find them in our farms, doing the farms. You'll find them guarding our offices. You'll find them planting our trees. You'll find them cleaning our markets. You'll find them even in areas that we don't have a lot of experience, like mining and blue economy. We want to engage our youth to offer services to other government departments as part of this national service. The third pillar, Mr. Speaker, we cannot do that unless we impart upon our youth vocational and technical knowledge. So our third pillar is on vocational and technical skills, which we are going to accelerate. We are already doing that to teach them and train them in some of these areas where we expect them to offer national service. Finally, Mr. Speaker, is on the issue of commercialization of the National Youth Service. Even for our county governments, for our private sector, for our members of parliament, National Assembly through CDF, you can expect that going forward, the National Youth Service, through what we are setting up, National Youth Service Enterprises, is going to offer the same service which private sector is offering. The only difference is that we can get these jobs on a G2G basis with other state corporations, with county governments, with the national government CDF, with the GAF and all other bodies, with international, even going out there, because the issue of youth unemployment is so serious, is so urgent, it is actually the biggest threat we have to our security and our long-term prosperity as a country. And so therefore, the National Youth Service is going to be not the only, but the major catalyst to solving the problem of youth unemployment. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, CS. Let's get another supplementary question from Senator Dedito John Kenywa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity, and I want to thank the Cabinet Secretary, Moses Kuria, for the way he has elaborated the question posed by Senator for Nyeri. Mr. Speaker, I want him to clarify what is the unit that he uses to put as hardship area, Mr. Speaker. Is it constituency? Is it county? Is it sub-county, Mr. Speaker? I'm saying that because, Mr. Speaker, you can come to a constituency which is true. Some part of that constituency has got what is impossible to get food, Mr. Speaker. There is insecurity, Mr. Speaker, and we have impassable roads, Mr. Speaker. But equally, in the same constituency, Mr. Speaker, you have the opposite of the same. There is no problem with security. The roads are good. There is plenty of food, Mr. Speaker. So I wanted to know what unit are they using? Because, Mr. Speaker, the correct unit from where I sit is sub-location, because that's the smallest unit, Mr. Speaker, of administration in the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Because if you talk about the constituency, Mr. Speaker, it will be unfair for some people who will be getting the benefit of getting hardship allowance, Mr. Speaker, while others are not getting the same, Mr. Speaker. I wanted that clarity, Mr. Speaker.
CS, respond to that as well.
Honorable Speaker, I appreciate the question from Senator from Laikipia, and I do understand why he would be very much concerned about that, because Senator of Laikipia comes from a county of disparities with some very productive area which can feed this country, and other area which depends on real food from some area which literally translated means comfort yourself, because there's nobody to comfort you, an area called Uyomereri. Honorable Speaker, the way we have clarified the areas, we are using the location as the lowest unit. I appreciate that we need to go lower on the sub-location. We'll keep on revising. In the first phase, we are going to, the guidance we are going to release are depending on the location. I totally subscribe to the view that we need to make the sub-location to be the lowest unit because of the disparities we have. And second thing, there's nothing stopping us from it. There's nothing difficult. There's no rocket science to it. We have got sub-location data now within our Huduma system, the census that we took. It is possible for the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics to give us data all the way to sub-location level. My request and my view is, once we do this, because I'm going to do it, then probably you need to treat us all equally and ask the people who are doing also the equalization fund to follow suit and do it at sub-location level. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for the elaborate response. Now, Senator Bugwa George.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me first welcome and congratulate the CS and welcome him to the Senate. He's a man I've known for the better part of my life, and I'm sure he's going to do a good job in his new docket. Mr. CS, we are talking about hardship area. You've talked about scarcity of food. I am aware that the National Youth Service own large tracts of land all over Kenya, including Samburu County, and that land is idle. I would want you to appraise this House what plan you have on commercialization of this idle land, so that we can help the country in solving the food problem. At the same time, CS, I would want you to tell this House what plans you have for people with disability joining the NYS, because we are only recruiting the able-bodied, and somebody like me, and you know me for a very long time, you cannot recruit me. Thank you.
I'm not sure whether you want to join the National Youth Service or you are talking on behalf of the other young men who are born differently. Honorable CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I appreciate the question from the Honorable nominated Senator George Mugwa. You can expect, Senator, that the biggest farmer in this country will be the National Youth Service. We are going to utilize all our existing land, including the land in Samburu that you've talked about. Tomorrow, because of the partnership that we'll be launching with the Ministry of Agriculture, the Agricultural Development Corporation, Kenya Seed Corporation. We are also going to discuss with them how they will also will release land from them in areas like Garana, Kulalu, and you can expect that the next big provider, supplier of food, of maize for the local market and for the export market is going to be the National Youth Service. Honorable Speaker, we are discussing with the county government to deploy the National Youth Service. We have got counties which have already given us land to do seed propagation within the counties, to move from the current system where our counties, our farmers in the counties are expecting seedlings to be supplied from Nairobi, which I find not acceptable because it's the other way around. We have started with the county of Siaya, where the governor of Siaya has offered 70 acres to start a seed propagation farm in Ugenya constituency for this purpose. Mr. Speaker, we have come from a situation of famine, of hunger, of food scarcity. In my considered opinion, this need not be the case. We need to have some intervention from government to complement what our hard-working farmers are doing. And it is my commitment to the country that through the National Youth Service, we'll be able to match our especially subsistence farmers and our medium-sized farmers, especially in the North Rift. The total output from farmers on individual basis is going to be matched 1-to-1 by the National Youth Service so that we have got a reliable source of food. Mr. Speaker, within the next 2 to 3 years, you can expect that National Youth Service is going to assist the country either working alone or even through public-private partnership, working with foreign partners to be able to do food production. There has been a lot of interest, Mr. Speaker, from foreign investors who would want to come and do agriculture and help the country to be self-sufficient in food production and as well to have food for export. What they have been looking for, and I know that from my previous assignment, is a worthy partner who can be able to partner with them to be able to farm together because of local knowledge and the local situation. The National Youth Service is going to enter into partnership with the international investors to come and work with them. They bring in their capital, they bring in their equipment, we bring in our labor, we bring in our local knowledge and satisfy this country in terms of food availability and food security, and also earn this country foreign exchange through food export. Mr. Speaker, the second question from Senator George Bugwa on the people who are specially abled. It is a policy of the National Youth Service to reserve up to 20% of all the recruitment to people who are specially abled. And especially now, because of the commercial activities we'll be undertaking, some of them can be undertaken very properly by people who are specially abled. We have even some people who are specially able now working with our garment and apparel manufacturing unit at the National Youth Service, which is already providing the bulk of the uniforms that our police, our Kenya Defence Forces, our Kenya Wildlife Service Rangers are using. They are already being made from the National Youth Service. We are going to expand on that as we do all these activities, including business process outsourcing, where we have agreed with the Kenya Revenue Authority. Recently, you saw Kenya Revenue Authority recruit some revenue service agents from across the country to work with people, taxpayers, to expand the tax base. And National Youth Service has been requested by the Kenya Revenue Authority to undertake this service on behalf of the Kenya Revenue Authority, thus providing even much more opportunities for our young people. And in doing so, we're also going to establish a very huge back office to support bodies like Kenya Revenue Authority. We have got the custom scanning, which they are ready to give to us. Ministry of Lands in terms of digitalization of lands records. We want to work with judiciary. All these are people who can give us jobs, which can be done not only by people who are able-bodied, but also people who are of special ability. And I want to assure you that Senator George Bogwa, if I receive your application to join the service, I will give it consideration, given we were together from high school. The only thing is that it's unfortunate that you are past the age of being recruited there. I submit.
Next is Senator Oloba Magoma Kuria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, let me take this opportunity to congratulate our CS, Moses Kuria, for the new appointment. Many don't know that he contributed during his time in his former ministry to really help rally people to support the cause of period poverty, and I appreciate that. I have a follow-up question in terms of the commercialization of the National Youth Service. For purposes of clarity, because it's a question that has been asked, is there a policy that gives a certain percentage to the National Youth Service a priority in terms of national projects? As you have told us that now the National Youth Service is being called upon by KRA, by different other entities of government. But I'm wondering if there's an actual policy that says that a certain percentage, same way we have AGPO, ring-fencing 30% to a certain constituency of enterprises. And another, and actually, CS,